The savanna stretched endlessly, a vast sea of golden grass swaying under the slow rise of the sun. Morning light spilled over the horizon, filling the world with warmth but also exposing the dangers hidden in every shadow. A small family of Australopithecus moved cautiously along the edge of a watering hole, their steps light, their ears pricked for the faintest sound. They were not beasts, yet not fully human either. Their minds sharper than most creatures around them, but still bound to instinct and fear. Every step mattered. Every choice could mean survival or death. The male walked first, his dark eyes scanning the tall grasses for movement, nostrils flaring as he caught scents carried by the morning breeze. He was lean and powerful, but he knew strength alone was never enough here. Danger always watched. Behind him, his mate clutched a sturdy stick worn smooth from use. It was more than just wood. It was a tool, a weapon, perhaps even a promise of something greater their kind was only beginning to understand. Their two young followed close, mimicking their parents' movements, curiosity pulling at them but fear tethering them back. They trusted the rhythm of the adult's caution, each pause and glance teaching them the rules of survival. The watering hole shimmered under the light, a pool of life surrounded by whispers of death. Birds gathered at its edges, and a herd of antelope stood further away, heads bent low but bodies tense, ready to flee at the first sign of danger. Beyond them, hidden in the distance, the shadow of a predator lay waiting, the faint outline of a great cat crouched in the grass, its golden eyes fixed on the herd, or perhaps on something smaller, weaker, easier to claim. The family kept close to the trees, watching, listening. The female tightened her grip on the stick as her children pressed closer to her side. They knew the water was needed, but they also knew the trap it could become. For a moment the air was heavy as though the land itself was holding its breath. Then with a sudden rush the grass rustled violently. The children whimpered, clinging to their mother. A massive crocodile, its body dark and armored, slid into the pool with barely a sound, leaving only ripples behind. It had been waiting, patient and unseen. The family froze. Even the youngest sensed what it meant. The danger was not only on land, but beneath the water's surface too. To drink here was to invite death. Slowly the male turned, his body tense, signaling with a low grunt. The female guided the young back step by careful step, never turning her eyes from the pool. The crocodile's yellow eyes gleamed just above the waterline, but it did not strike, not this time. The family retreated, moving toward higher ground where rocks and trees promised safety. Hunger and thirst would gnaw at them longer, but caution had preserved them. They would live to see another day. The savanna was merciless, and yet in their quiet retreat, there was strength, not in dominance but in patience. It was this patience, this instinct to protect, that carried them forward in a world where so many fell silent. The sun stood high in the sky, beating down mercilessly on the savanna. The grasses, once soft with morning dew, now crackled dry beneath each step, releasing the sharp scent of dust and heat. The family had climbed toward a rocky outcrop, a place where the land rose slightly above the plain, offering them both a vantage point and the illusion of safety. From here the horizon stretched far, shimmering with waves of heat, but in this vast openness, danger always traveled silently, creeping closer than one expected. The young ones busied themselves at first, tapping sticks against stone, fascinated by the sound it made. Their small laughs echoed briefly, a fragile reminder of innocence in a world carved by survival. Yet the sound faded as the air shifted. Above them a lone bird circled, calling out with sharp cries, a warning carried through generations of instinct. The male froze, his head snapping toward the grasses below. His nostrils flared, catching the scent before his eyes confirmed it. Shapes moved low and steady, hyenas, gaunt, desperate, their rib cages showing beneath mangy fur. The pack crept forward with the slow determination of creatures driven by hunger. Their eyes gleamed, their movements restless, as if they could already taste flesh. The male stepped forward, releasing a deep, guttural sound from his throat, a sound as old as fear itself but sharpened with defiance. The female's arms swept quickly around the young, pulling them tight against the safety of her body, her own voice rising in sharp cries meant to amplify the warning. The hyenas did not falter. They came closer, their circle tightening, their teeth bared. Dust rose around their paws as they prowled, snapping at the air, testing the courage of their prey. The male bent swiftly, gripping a thick branch from the ground, its weight heavy in his hand but its meaning heavier still. He raised it high, shouting again, the sound raw and primal, cutting through the dry air. The first hyena lunged forward. Jaws wide with a desperate strength, the male swung the branch, the wood cracking against the predator's shoulder. A sharp yelp rang out, the creature tumbling back. But the others pressed on, growling, circling. The female joined the defense, her hand grasping stones and hurling them with surprising precision. The rocks struck fur and bone, startling the pack, forcing them to hesitate. All the while, the children clung to her legs, their small hearts thundering, their eyes wide with terror as they watched their parents transform into warriors. The battle stretched on longer than moments should, each heartbeat a test of survival. Again and again, the branch struck, the stones flew, and the cries of both predator and prey filled the open air. Finally, with snarls of frustration, the pack pulled back. The hyenas' hunger burned in their eyes, but the risk was too high. The prey, too united. One by one, they retreated into the grasses, their shadows swallowed by the heat of the plain. Silence returned, broken only by the ragged breaths of the family. The male lowered the branch slowly, his body trembling, sweat streaking down his brow. The female sank to her knees, pulling the children into her arms, pressing them close, as if to shield them still from dangers now gone. For a long moment no one moved. The savanna seemed to pause with them, holding the weight of what had passed. Then as the sun began to sink just slightly, casting long shadows over the rocks, the family rose again, tired, shaken, but alive. In the strength of their unity, in the refusal to surrender they had endured. In this world of tooth and claw, they carried something beyond strength, a bond that even the fiercest predators could not break.